Hello and welcome to Pushing Back, Ukraine Daily Brief. As the war enters its 807th day, these are the main developments from the past 24 hours. Russia has lost approximately 481,030 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of the war, the General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces reported. The number, which has not been independently verified, includes 1320 casualties over the past day. According to the released Ukrainian figures, Russia lost 15 tanks, 40 armored combat vehicles, 55 artillery systems, 2 multiple launch rocket system, 1 air defense system, 42 drones, 1 cruise missile, 64 vehicles, and 9 pieces of special equipment. The US has announced a new military aid package for Ukraine valued at $400 million, mainly including ammunition, missiles, and vehicles. The update from the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. There were 91 combat engagements. The enemy launched a total of 6 missile and 67 air strikes, carried out 92 multiple launch rocket system attacks on positions of Ukrainian troops and various settlements. The Ukrainian Air Force and missile forces launched strikes on 1 anti-aircraft missile system, 1 radar station, and 17 concentrations of troops of the Russian invaders. In its latest intelligence update, the UK's Ministry of Defence reports a Russian fighter jet accidentally dropped a powerful FAB-500 bomb on a civilian area in Belgrade, Russia on May 4, 2024. This isn't the first incident. Similar events have happened before, and media reports suggest there were 20 lost munitions in the Belgrade region between March and April alone. These accidents highlight Russia's struggles with its munition deployment, causing injuries and damage to civilians. In its latest intelligence update, the Institute for the Study of War. Russian forces began an offensive operation along the Russian-Ukrainian border in northern Kharkiv Oblast on the morning of May 10 and made tactically significant gains. Russian forces are likely conducting the initial phase of an offensive operation north of Kharkiv city that has limited operational objectives but is meant to achieve the strategic effect of drawing Ukrainian manpower and material from other critical sectors of the front in eastern Ukraine. Russian forces will likely leverage their tactical foothold in northern Kharkiv Oblast in the coming days to intensify offensive operations and pursue the initial phase of an offensive effort likely intended to push back Ukrainian forces from the border with Belgrade Oblast and advance to within tube artillery range of Kharkiv city. The limited efforts that Russian forces are currently conducting do not suggest that Russian forces are immediately pursuing a large-scale sweeping offensive operation to envelop, encircle, and seize Kharkiv city, however. Russian offensive operations along the Kharkiv international border likely have the strategic objective of drawing and fixing Ukrainian forces to this axis to enable Russian advances in other areas of eastern Ukraine. ISW continues to assess that Russian forces will likely struggle to seize Kharkiv city should they aim to do so. Russian forces likely decided to launch offensive operations along the international border area to take the best advantage of the relatively brief time left before Western aid arrives at the Ukrainian front line at scale. Ukrainian Ground Forces Commander Lieutenant General Alexander Pavliuk stated that the war in Ukraine will enter a critical phase in the next 2 months and commented on recent Russian advances around Chasiv Yar and Avdiivka. U.S. President Joe Biden approved up to $400 million worth of military assistance for Ukraine as part of the Presidential Drawdown Authority Fund on May 10. Ukrainian forces conducted a drone strike on the night of May 9 to 10 against an oil refinery in Kaluga Oblast that Ukrainian forces previously struck in March 2024. Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin is retaining his position in the Russian government for Russian President Vladimir Putin's new term of office, and there have been speculations but no confirmations of changes to Putin's cabinet. U.S. Assistant Secretary of Defense for Space Policy John Plum stated that U.S. defense officials partnered with SpaceX to stop the Russian military's unauthorized use of Starlink internet terminals in frontline areas of Ukraine. Russian and Belarusian authorities continue to illegally deport Ukrainian citizens, including children, to Russia and Belarus. Russian forces recently marginally advanced near Donetsk city and in the Donetsk-Zaporizhia Oblast border area. In Zelensky's nightly video he covered several points. Firstly, he said Russian troops attempting to expand operations against Ukraine. Ukrainian warriors, artillery, and drones retaliating against them. He said there was an urgent need for timely supplies of weapons to support Ukrainian resilience. Secondly, he thanked the international cooperation and support. American decision to provide artillery, anti-tank weapons, vehicles, and air defense is much needed. Lastly, discussions with the President of Slovakia on defense cooperation and EU relations and preparations for the peace summit were ongoing. Ukraine's First Lady, Alina Zelenska, met with Minister for Economic Cooperation and Development of Germany Svenja Schulze at the Bokomolets National Medical University. Together with the minister, they discussed the prospects for cooperation between the countries in the format of international medical partnership. Thanks for following today's updates. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. We'll return tomorrow with the latest news on the ongoing conflict.